Welcome to Live the Dream with yours truly, Marty Kaiser. Buckle up and let's get started. Hello, everyone. This is Marty Kaiser. Happy Friday with another episode of Real Estate Tidbits, my podcast. Hope you're enjoying it and hope everybody's doing well. What I wanted to go over today were a few topics that I thought might be of interest to you. The first one is we're going to be posting a new listing in the 32824 zip code. It'll be on the market next week. It's a premium condition, renovated, hardly ever lived in, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, about 1650 living area, screened-in pool, great location. It's 5 minutes from 417, about 10 or 15 minutes from Lake Nona, about 25 minutes from Disney, about 10 to 15 minutes from the International Airport. It's a house that's definitely worth seeing, and we're going to post it on the market at $464,900. Also, we're placing a home on the market today in Hunters Creek. It's a 3-bedroom home, approximately 1660 living area, nice screened enclosed pool, private wooded and conservation lot in the back. It's in the Mallard Cove subdivision of Hunters Creek, one of the premium locations in South Orlando. Again, great location, 20 minutes east of Disney, 20 minutes west of the International Airport, and take advantage of all of Hunters Creek's various amenities, their playgrounds, their tennis courts, their pickleball courts, their baseball fields, their soccer fields. All that you can imagine Hunters Creek offers, plus the nicest landscape community in all of Orange County. This particular 3-bedroom home is going on the market at $474,900. Easy to show. Let me know if I can help you look at that house. Again, you can always reach me, Marty Kaiser, 407-595-9700, or my email address is marty@floridasells.com. Second piece of information, which is hopefully good news for everyone, is the Federal Reserve yesterday announced they're lowering their basis points by 0.50. This is their first rate reduction since before COVID. As you probably have familiarized yourself and have experienced, we had a number of rate increases since COVID started, due to all the byproducts of the positions that COVID left us in and the Fed's intent to slow inflation. They've got a great handle on inflation now. Inflation is below 3%. And I think personally, except for a handful of vendors that are price gouging, especially in some of the grocery stores, prices have definitely leveled off and hopefully bode well for the future. Now, what this rate reduction could do, and of course what a lot of people are expecting, is that interest rates will go down to the consumers. More specifically, a lot of people are hoping that mortgage interest rates go down. As you probably have been aware, interest rates at one point in the past 4 years had gone down to a low in some cases of about 2 3/4, and then they went up in a pretty quick time frame over the past year and a half or so to a high of 8%. Nationally, presently, and again, this varies a little bit from region to region, but the national average is somewhere between 6 1/4 and 6.5% on 30-year fixed-rate mortgages. And it's expected that hopefully over the next few months, the rates will decline. As I've mentioned in previous podcasts, I expect a more significant adjustment for consumers to take place in the last 3 quarters of 2025. I'm hopeful and optimistic based on my experience in real estate and also based on all the different magazines and periodicals that I subscribe to real estate-wise, that interest rates will go down closer to the 5% level. However, that being said, if you've been listening to this podcast and have heard me give recommendation to buyers, I believe now is the time to buy rather than waiting until next year. Why do I say that? Well, if you noticed with just the news in the last 24 hours, everybody's very optimistic about the future of interest rates, and it's going to get a lot of people kind of off their duff and out there looking to buy real estate. I still think that the bulk of that activity is going to take place in 2025, and what that's going to result to is more demand than supply, and you're going to see an acceleration of prices. So prices are going to go up, in my opinion, reasonably significantly, where prices during the past 12 to 15 months have remained flat. So in my estimation, somebody buying now at today's prices, even if the interest rates are a little bit higher, are going to be better off financially until waiting till 2025 when they expect interest rates to come down some. Because what's going to end up happening in 2025, they're going to pay more for a house. They're going to be in direct competition and have to worry about bidding wars. They may find one or two houses that check all their boxes, and then they're dream houses, and they just get beat out by a better competitive offer. Where if you buy now, you'll have less competition, a lower acquisition price, and you can always refinance in a year or two. So I feel strongly in advising people that now is the time. If you're looking to buy in the next 18 months, you should do it now and not wait until 2025. That's just my personal opinion, but it's based on a lot of experience, and it's based on all the different cycles that we've gone through. I was through the cycles when we had the recession with the first George Bush back in the early 1990s. Then we had a gradual ascension of real estate values from 1998 to 2006, where prices dramatically rose in 2005 and 6. Then we kind of had the bottom drop out of the market in 2009 and 10. Then we've had a shortage of inventory and gradual price increases from 2012 to 2022. And then we've experienced a flattening of the market over the past 2 years. And I think we're definitely bound for another increase in prices. So this is, in my opinion, why it pays to listen to someone like myself that's lived through everything and can advise you on facts along with opinions and prognostications. And my job is to help my customer, whether they're seller or purchaser, get the best value for the money that they have to either spend or to utilize for other investment purposes. So I think you should definitely give serious thought to that. And I welcome people, if they don't agree or want to discuss this further, they can send questions in. You can email questions to marty@floridasells.com. If you have suggested topics you'd like to talk about, or if you disagree with me about something I've said, please let me know. I can also be reached at 407-595-9700. And if you recall, on my last podcast, we also delved into sports and kind of the intersection of sports and real estate and bias in society and the integrity of people you work with and facts. And I only bring that up again because I had a situation actually right before this podcast where I met with some potential customers that had had their house for sale unsuccessfully with another broker and were highly recommended to call me up. And I was actually, I always love getting referrals and recommendations, but this particular one was really heartwarming in this sense. The family that recommended me were people that used to be pretty good producers in real estate. They worked with me for about a year in 2005 and 6. So I hadn't actually intersected with these people or conversed with them for 17 or 18 years. And they thought enough of their experiences with me, my areas of expertise, my professionalism, and my integrity to recommend that this particular customer call me to sell their house. The other reason I bring this up is when I talk about integrity and the changes in real estate, this particular owner, when he extricated himself from his previous agreement, suffice it to say that what was told to him by his previous agent was totally incorrect. Forms and paperwork that were used were either improper, not filled out, and he was just given, to be generous, just given incorrect information. If I wanted to be more negative, I would say things a lot stronger than that, but I'm not going to use this forum to do any bashing. And it's just another example of when you make decisions in any occupation, but especially in real estate, it's so important that you deal with somebody that knows what they're doing, that's staying apprised of all the recent developments, that's not only telling you factual information, but they're telling you what's legal, what's ethical, and what's correct. Like in any industry, there's good folks that do a quality job, and there's folks that should be in a different occupation. You find the same thing in the lending business, which is kind of runs parallel to the real estate business, and of course can make or break a deal. This particular seller, besides what I've already mentioned, had some mortgage information on a failed transaction he had that was, let's just say, it was incomplete in the format and information that he was given. So these things just have high priority, and you've probably gotten the understanding from listening to me that I put a high emphasis on integrity and facts. And those will be two things that I will never change about. I'm going to divert to that because I always like to do some personal experience that I've had in my podcast. And I'll kind of switch course and go to a medical experience I had recently. So I was at a specialist yesterday because I needed to get some things checked out and get some opinions. And I had a doctor recommended to me who I did my due diligence and felt comfortable that this person was very capable and skilled in their specialty. And so it was a very good appointment for me from this standpoint. The specialist told me what I should hear, not what I wanted to hear, answered all my questions, didn't rush me out of the meeting, because nowadays, with a lot of doctors, and especially with all the problems that you run into with our health insurance, they're on a volume basis. They get paid more per patient, so a lot of times they rush you out and don't give you the personal attention you need. And everybody's situation is different. And I have my interactions with my doctors just like I have my interactions with my real estate customers. I want to be educated. I'm going to ask questions. And if I don't get a doctor that's willing to spend a few minutes answering my questions and not rushing me out of his office or her office, then that's not going to be the doctor I utilize. But suffice it to say, I was very happy with my experience. And they're not life-threatening conditions, but they're things that I need to get some tests about. So I'll leave it at that for right now. That's all for today. I'm cutting this podcast a little bit shorter because I have an extremely busy Friday, and punctuality is probably one of my middle names. I always like to be on time for things, but I always try to make sure I post podcasts on time. So hopefully this podcast is proven to be information that'll be beneficial to you. Please call me if I can be of assistance on any real estate matter at 407-595-9700. All my consultations are no obligation and no charge. Or you can email me at 407-595, you can email me at marty@floridasells. Have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. Marty Kaiser out.